This book. This book. Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to say. But welcome to my booktube channel. Today we're going to be talking about this book, A Little Life, which is very popular on TikTok, which I did not know. But it's by Hanya Yanagihara. I think that's how you say her name. And this book took me through a very emotional roller coaster. So basically, just a quick summary of this book. This book is about 4 friends, mainly this character out of the 4 friends. His name's Jude, and I'm assuming this is Jude on the cover. And you kind of follow, it's a time jumpy book, which at first I didn't like because I didn't understand kind of the time jumps, because they didn't tell you when a time jump was coming. It just, happened, and you kind of have to start reading to figure out what time you're in, and that was really hard for me to follow at first. And I personally switched to Audible, and I was listening to the book while I was reading it because it was just so much easier for me to follow along. But it follows mainly Jude, but it also follows the 3 other friends, and it talks about their lives and kind of present day. They're more like present day. I don't know, it's like time jumpy, but they're mainly in their late adulthood, like 40s, 50s, and you kind of follow mostly Jude's life. And when it goes to his friend's perspective, you see mostly their perspective of Jude. And so it kind of is mainly focused on Jude, but it's Jude's life and his life in foster care and everything else. And it's pretty traumatic. There are things that I should have, read the trigger warnings for. I was fine, but there are a lot of people that I know wouldn't be fine reading this. And it is definitely something that you really get into the mind of someone who has been traumatized and has been through all of these traumatic incidents, and it's like you see something good come along and it just gets demolished by something terrible. And it's like nothing in his life seems to be going right, but also it's his mental state as well that's restricting him from having that happiness. And that is truly what people go through. That's why you see, people who've gone through trauma, they can't get over it because, it keeps coming back in their minds. I mean, there's ways to help get through the pain, but that trauma, that memory is never going to go away. And it kind of just highlighting that. And there are a lot of trigger warnings, so please take caution and read them. They don't list them in the book, which I think they should, but it's really, there are a lot of descriptive things in here that are not for the weak of heart. Besides all of the negativity that I found in this book, I took it as like a learning experience, and I became more aware of, we all have our own traumas, but we truly don't understand everyone else's traumas because our traumas could be completely different, and different severities and different ways of people dealing with it and stuff. And this, like, truly, I mean, I still don't understand what he went through, but I got this character's perspective, and I kind of got to look inside his mind and be in his mind instead of on the outside. But I also got to see the outside from the people around him, his friends, his family members. I got to see that, and that was really, really, that was more heartbreaking to me, seeing their perspectives of him and how helpless they felt, than it was to be in his mind, which was weird because I feel like I should have gotten more affected by his perspective, but I was more affected by his family. I'm gonna be completely honest here, and I thought that I wouldn't like this book. I personally didn't go in knowing a ton about it either, which is not a thing you should do with this book because it's very, traumatic. I just think that I was okay reading it. Which it is what it is. But I actually really I wouldn't say enjoyed it. I thought it was a piece of art from this author. It's real, it's raw, it's what life can be, and there are always good and bad to life, and if we ignore um, the bad, we're not going to truly understand other people and what they're going through. Kind of get a glimpse into the mental health world and understand that you can't just get over things. You can't just say, hey, calm down, get over it. That's not what it is. Like, it truly mentally damages someone. It made me understand that trauma can really, really affect mental health for a lifetime. And yeah, so I don't regret reading this because I think that it's really good to read on an educational level, and I think understanding this piece of art is amazing. And I don't want to be the type of person who just ignores things because it's uncomfortable. And I'm trying to push myself out of that zone. I'm trying to make myself do things that are more uncomfortable. And yeah, I'm not recommending this to everyone because I don't think that a lot of people can probably handle this book. But at the same time, I think that if you think you're ready, you should try it. You know, things are going to be uncomfortable. Things are going to be hard to read. Things are going to be, it's just, I am curious on a psychological level too. And to be completely honest with you, I thought that I was going to cry. And so I'm like, while reading this, I was like, great, this is going to be a book that I'm going to cry at, because the only book that I've cried at is Colleen Hoover's All Your Perfects, because it just like spoke to me in a different way. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to cry to this. And when I got to the part that I saw everyone crying over and basically saying that they regret reading the book, I got to that part and I read it and I sat there and I was like, like, I'm feeling the emotions, but I'm not crying, because in a way, and I know this sounds crazy, but in a way I found peace in it, because I feel like Jude got peace in some way. And I'm not going to say any more than that. I don't want to be spoilery at all. I really don't want to say what's in this book, but I found a weird sort of peace. And I was just happy to see that in a way. I'm not supporting what, happened at the end, but I support that there's at least some peace in mind. And yeah, it's a tough read, but I gave it 5 stars because it's real raw, and it's it's artwork. The experience was positive in a way, so that was good, and I took stuff from this and I turned it into a positive thing. And I feel like that's what some people are missing when they read this. They focus on the negatives so much that they forget that there is positives in this and there are lessons that are learned. So there is a quote in here. I've got a few sticky tabs in here, but there's a quote in here that I'm not gonna say who it's by and everything, because I want people who want to read this to get the full experience. But I loved this quote. If I were a different kind of person, I might say that this whole incident is a metaphor for life in general. Things get broken and sometimes they get repaired. And in most cases, you realize that No matter what gets damaged, life rearranges itself to compensate for your loss, sometimes wonderfully. And that like really spoke to me, and I love that quote. That is basically my book review of A Little Life. Sorry this was so kind of depressing, but I couldn't make it happy. It's a kind of depressing book, but you can take it as a positive. Please read the trigger warnings. It's not a book you recommend to people, but it's also a book that I gave 5 stars, and I love it for what it gave me. So, but thank you for watching. Please, I want to cry to a book. I don't know why. I want to do it though. Like, I need a book that will make me cry. So if you know any good books that are sad, I'm kind of in a sad girl mood, so I need some books that are sad. So if you have any sad books, please list them down below, and tell me a book. If you've read a book that made you cry, let me know. I wish I cried to A Little Life. I don't know why. That's so weird to say, but I just have watched all of these bloggers, and they like have all the crying, and I'm like, is it real? Or I don't know, maybe it just hits people differently. Maybe it's like the trauma connection. Because I know when I read some books, like the Colleen Hoover's All Your Perfects, I can't talk, All Your Perfects, it like some things connected with me. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please like and subscribe down below.